Hey guys, Civilord here, back again with another edition of Flashback Fridays, and what I have for you today is the Funko Disney Afternoon DuckTales Woo! Gizmo Duck. Since I no longer have the packaging for this figure, let's jump right into the meat and taters of this review and take a closer look at good old Gizmo Duck here, who does not come with any accessories aside from this super nifty display base, which if you don't use this, guess what? He ain't gonna stand because, well, if you're not familiar with Gizmo Duck, he don't have legs. He's got this spinny wheel here, which spins pretty freely. Whee! 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 And you can roll him around, so that's fun. But yeah, it was pretty thoughtful of Funko to throw this in. Just plugs into his back here, like so. And doesn't take up too much space on the shelf. Almost like a mini McFarlane stand, if I do say so myself. It was thoughtful for them to throw that in instead of just, you know, giving us him like this. Because, well, we wouldn't be able to stand him. So that's cool. Bonus points for that. And in all honesty, I'm not too familiar with Gizmo Duck. Any of the episodes of DuckTales I've seen does not have this character in it. I'm much more familiar with, of course, Scrooge, Huey, Dewey, and Louie. Of course, Donald, because who doesn't know Donald Duck? Except for the few of you who live under a freaking rock. And then there's Launchpad McQuack. Basically, anyone who showed up in the reboot, I pretty much know who that is, the Beagle Boys. I even know that evil witch duck. Kind of looks like Maleficent a little bit there. But not too familiar with Gizmo here. Not sure if he showed up in Darkwing or not, because I know DuckTales and Darkwing are kind of in a shared universe with one another, which is kind of cool. But this guy's super 90s looking. Look at his head sculpt. He's got like almost a mohawk, which ends in an antenna here. His helmet almost forms a ball cap on the back. He's got a visor. He's got super broad shoulders. And can I just say something real quick? Look at this guy. Now look at every other Marvel Legends ever made. Look at the V shape this guy has going on. Yeah, that's a thing with these fictional superhero types. So, just saying, Marvel Legends, you could learn a thing or two from this DuckTales figure that, hey, the V-shape makes him look more heroic, not the slumped shoulders and long necks and narrow chests like, well, I have. So, that aside, build your superheroes more like this, you're more likely to get a more positive response, because they look more heroic that way. Yes, indeed. So, as far as articulation on this guy goes, though, he does have a ball joint in the head. Does look up pretty far, so that's impressive. Not so much down, but a little bit. It does have a little tilt as well. Does have hinge at the shoulder. Just move out forward and back. Swivel at the gauntlet. Swivel at the waist. And that's it. So he's a lot more limited. He doesn't have an elbow hinge, but there's really no room to put one, so that's understandable. That said, it would have been nice to have. And maybe a wrist swivel instead of the gauntlet swivel, but I'm trying to remember if any of these even have a wrist swivel. And if I'm being honest, I don't think any of them did. I thought Scrooge did, but I was proven wrong in last week's edition of Flashback Fridays, so check that out if you haven't already. Fridays. The hell is a Fridays? Getting him set up here. Yeah, Gizmo Duck is a definite win. If you wanted this character for your DuckTales collection, then of course you gotta get him. He's super cool. One of the cooler looking characters from the show. I would have liked a El Capitan, or whatever his name is. That guy was really funny. Voiced by Jim Cummings, of course, who voiced like half the Disney Afternoon, if we're being perfectly honest. I mean, he was two of the main bad guys in Chip and Dale, along with Monterey Jack. He was Darkwing Duck. he was Negaduck. He was the other Negaduck. And then, of course, he was El Capitan in this show. I don't know if he was in Tailspin, because I know they recycled a lot of Jungle Book characters. I don't know if they recycled Ka, but I'm sure if they did, he played him as well. And at this time, I think he was taking over the role as Winnie the Pooh, which, by the way, curious if Super 7 will get around to those. But with that being said, let's now move on and take a look at some size comparisons. First up, here is Gizmo Duck next to the only other figure Funko gave us from DuckTales, woo! In this Disney Afternoon line, Scrooge McDuck, and the Super 7 Disney Ultimates, Mickey Mouse, as he appeared in Fantasia as the Sorcerer's Apprentice. And as I've said in my Funko Disney Afternoon reviews thus far, would be really cool to see Super 7 give us Ultimates to some of these Disney Afternoon characters. Am I right, or am I right? Come on. You know I'm right. A fully articulated version of Gizmo Duck, Darkwing Duck, that evil witch duck, and Launchpad, and Scrooge McDuck. Let's not leave out the main character here. That would be really freaking cool. And last, but certainly not least, we have our two regulars, the Mythic Legions, Brother Mandibulus, the Spawn, who as usual towers over everyone, because while Gizmo Duck may be a robot, he is still just a duck. Remember that, guys. Gizmo Duck is still just a duck. So with that being said, time to wrap things up. Some final thoughts. Overall, and as I said before, in both my Chip and Dale and Scrooge McDuck reviews, if you're looking for a Gizmo Duck figure to tickle your fancy, then look no further. That said, I'm not quite sure what this guy's going for on the secondary market nowadays. I feel like he'd be one of the more expensive or hard to get ones, so buyer beware. Try not to pay too much over retail for this guy, because again, a lot of these figures are pretty much still just the normal retail price. So if you can get them close to that, I would highly suggest you pick them up and add them to your DuckTales Disney Afternoon or just overall Disney collection as soon as possible, because with the resurgence of the Disney Afternoon thanks to the Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers movie, which I have mixed emotions about, but at the end of the day, it is bringing exposure to a lot of the stuff I do like about Disney, so there is a positive with every negative, isn't there? I think these characters are going to start being a little bit more sought after, and unfortunately, it started with Gadget, who I unfortunately do not have, so maybe someday we'll get a Gadget review on this channel, but for now, we got good old Gizmo Duck to keep us company, and that is not bad company to have. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this week's edition of Flashback Fridays. If you are so inclined, please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you know whenever I upload more reviews like this one. If you haven't already, please hit me up on Instagram at Overlord Productions. But as always, keep the comments civil, because the world sucks enough as it is, especially when Disney ain't making cool shows like this anymore. I mean, the DuckTales reboot was an exception, but I'd love to see Chip and Dale Gargoyles, Darkwing Duck, and even Tailspin and Gummy Bears come back, because, well, sure as hell beats the shit they're playing nowadays. And until next time, I'll catch you guys later.